Hey guys, Haddy the creator here, and today I am making a video about a project that I took on May 10th in 2009. I decided to start a blog called A Daily Doodle, on which I would draw a picture every single day and see if I could do it for a full year. A Daily Doodle for me was a project to just kind of force me to be creative. And I had found myself in an environment where I wasn't being too creative, and I wanted to make sure that I had an excuse to be creative and kind of a mandate to be creative. You know, I've always loved to draw. I drew all through high school. I was voted most artistic in my graduating class, and my yearbook, everybody knew me as the guy that was always drawing. But, you know, I got married, had kids, and there's not always time for that. So I do doodle at work when I get chances to, and if I don't make it a priority, I am not being creative. So a lot of these drawings you're going to see are pretty rough, and they're rough because I hadn't drawn a ton. And another element of it is having to draw something every single day is, you know, it sounds all good, but some days you just don't feel like drawing. It's kind of hard to force yourself to be creative. And I found that too while doing some of these drawings, that some of them just look crappy or rushed, and it's just because I wanted to make sure I got something in that day. It's really easy to neglect your passions unless you make them a priority, and that's kind of what my goal was for this project. So it actually ended up being a little bit more than 365 days to fulfill this year for whatever reason. Leap year, I don't know what it was, but from November 10th 2009 to November 10th, 2010, I drew a picture every single day. And I do remember one occasion, which kind of sucked. I was on vacation, and I didn't have internet, and I didn't have access to a computer even where I was. And I remember making my wife come with me, and we went looking for a place that we could sit down and I could draw a picture and post it on my blog. So what we ended up doing was finding some hotel with a lobby that had like a public computer, and I opened up, the only art program they had was like Microsoft Paint, and I just used the mouse, and I did a mouse drawing and posted it. But I remember that day, I don't know, it was just like another element of dedication. You know, it forced me to do it. I didn't want to miss a day, and it's kind of a fun story. I remember the memory vividly. I remember the little lobby area that I sat in to do this. I was up in Washington State, and yeah, so I'm pretty proud of this. Even though it was in 2009, I still look back at these drawings from time to time, and it's fun, just all of the different creatures, characters, and elements that came out of this whole project. And you can see too, one thing that I wasn't good at when I started this was digital painting, you know, painting in Photoshop in a realistic manner. It's something that I feel like I'm pretty good at now. I could still improve. There's always room for improvement. But you can see there's a few times I attempt it, but it's through forcing myself to make myself attempt these things that I start to develop the confidence and the skills to do it more proficiently. And you can never get better at something unless you just open that door and walk through it. You know, you have to be bad before you can be good. You have to fail before you succeed. So yeah, so I failed in quite a bit of these drawings. Some of them are pretty sketchy. Some of them look like, you know, my son could probably draw better, but it's all good. And I learned a lot from it. I'm happy to share these with you, and I hope you enjoy them. So this is the A Daily Doodle Project. adailydoodle.blogspot.com still exists, and you can still visit it and see any of these drawings if you want to look at them better or use them for anything. You're welcome to. I feel like I learned what I needed to learn from this project, and I was able to kind of get past that forcing myself to be creative, and I got myself to a point where I could sit down and draw pretty comfortably, and I've kind of kept that up since I did this blog. And I really did learn a lot and grow a lot from doing this, and I would recommend it to anybody out there who is struggling to be more creative or wants to keep their drawing skills sharp or just to develop drawing skills. This is making me think of a pet peeve of mine. So a lot of times people will come up to me and say, man, I wish I could draw like you. And that irks me because I put so many hours into drawing, and it's something that I've dedicated a huge chunk of my life to, and that's why I can draw like I draw. It's a passion of mine, and that's why I can do it. Just like playing the piano, nobody can sit down and play an amazing song the first time they try. It's impossible. And the same with drawing. I didn't sit down at 4 years old and draw a picture like I could draw today. That didn't happen. If I showed you my 4-year-old drawings, they would look like 4-year-old drawings. And it's from there, the development, that I've gotten to where I am now. And anybody can do it. I believe that. I think that there is a bit of raw talent there, and maybe it's just a raw passion. My late grandfather was an artist, and there's actually a painting of his up on the wall over there, of the Sumi painting that he did. But it's just something that I've always liked, and there's quite a few people that are artistic in my family, but I think the biggest element in that is just time. Well, thanks again for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate you, and I appreciate your time invested into watching the content that I produce. If you like this content, please subscribe. It's only a click from you, but it helps me out quite a bit and keeps me motivated, and motivation is a good thing. That's kind of my goal for making this channel, is to help motivate other people, other creative people, and to keep people learning and keep people on their toes. Stop being comfortable. Comfort is the enemy of progress, so they say. So yeah, I appreciate you, and take care.